confession is for sin. But I'm sure that there's people who have walked the earth who don't confess because they haven't committed sin. So why would they confess it?
Who would that be? Because even
I have no clue. I'm not aware. I'm not personally aware of any. I'm just saying that it's not logically impossible.
I mean, do you think we actually ever truly achieve absolute theosis in our life?
Yeah, there have been. Yeah, I think that there are people who have achieved theosis. Yeah.
And that would be a saint or just a normal person?
I don't think all saints have achieved theosis, and I think some normal people have achieved theosis. Hard to say. It's impossible for us to read their heart. We don't know for sure. But it seems like it's inside the realm of possibility, considering there have been billions of people walking this earth. Just like I think that there's people who have achieved the spirit of Antichrist.
Yeah.
Plus, also, why would it say in Revelations that it's achievable? It talks about how it's achievable in Revelations. Because it says you must do this in order to...
All of these kinds of insane ideas came from the Protestant Reformation. Mm-hmm. This idea that you're born to sin, right? Mm-hmm. You're not born to sin.
No.
Okay? No. You're not born of a sinful nature. Your nature is not that. You're fallible. Your nature is fallible. But that doesn't mean it's in your nature to sin. No, I don't know where that doesn't even make sense. Think about it for a second.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, it just seems like even on a biological basis, people are very self-centered, very self-oriented, and they will do that at the expense of others.
It can be. I'm telling you. Yeah, this is so you're a biological determinist now? You're born a serial killer?
No, not necessarily.
No. There's no biological determinism, okay? And there's no determinism on your soul, or it would negate free will. How could you have the free will not to sin if you're born to sin?
So you do have a lot of very primal instincts and drives that will lead you to do sinful, self-centered behavior, and you're supposed to overcome them by your higher brain to have self-control and not do those things because you understand what's right and wrong.
Yeah, but how do you understand what's right and wrong?
I think we're born with a little bit of innate understanding of what's right and wrong, but primarily from...
Well, that's weird. I thought we were born to sin. Wait, that's a really strange duality. We're born knowing right from wrong, but we're also born to sin? Meaning that you have the foreknowledge that you're doing something wrong and you just do it anyway because you just can't help yourself. That doesn't sound like the ontology of any humans I'm aware of.
Well, I do think most people seem to have, and you call it like the ick, where they have this very visceral reaction to knowing what's right and what's wrong, even if they're not.
Yeah, so that seems contrary to the idea that they're born to sin.
As a Christian, I look to God and the Bible and the church to tell me what's truly right and wrong.
So I just want to make sure I get this position correct. You believe that a baby comes out of their mom and is already sinning, that their nature is to sin, a baby's nature. Like when a baby dies, did a baby sin already? Is the baby paying for the sins of Adam?
So what's taught in the Protestant churches, and I think the Catholic Church as well, is that...
Not in the Catholic Church, no way. No.
Well, hear me out, is that initially when you're born, you have a sinful nature, but you're not responsible for that until you reach an age of reason.
Well, that's convenient. Well, that's awful convenient. So let me get this right. You're born of a sinful nature until you hit the age where you can distinguish right from wrong, meaning you have a choice to sin or not, but you just have to.
And then you have free will.
That's super weird. So you just
have free will, but you have an inclination towards sin. Which is why parents...
okay, so wait. Okay, so you have an inclination towards alcohol. Do you have to drink?
Do you have an inclination? I mean, there are genes that predispose you toward alcoholism.
I agree. Do you have to drink?
But no, you have a choice to override that with
Right. So if you have a choice to commit no sin, why is it logically impossible that there's people who just don't commit sins?
Well, if they never committed a sin, what would be the need for God saving us then?
You still would have to go through Jesus Christ, who is the gateway to heaven. He said, I am the way. And by the way, if they're not committing sins, then they're following in the footsteps of Christ, which they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even understand the contradiction.
So a sin is an action and a consequence. It's not in the nature.
An action and a consequence. It's not in the.
So if I follow your logic,
Mm-hmm.
your logic is that you are biologically born to sin and you just can't help it. You're going to, no matter what. You have no choice in the matter. It's going to happen, no matter what. That's really strange. And by the way, let me ask you this: if this is true, okay, if babies, if they're not responsible for sin when they die, do they go to heaven?
I think they do because they're not able to understand what's right and wrong. Even though
Great. Then why aren't you a big supporter of abortion? You're just giving them a one-way ticket to heaven.
Because I think there's a right to life too. So
Wait, that's really weird. If you give them a right to life, that's super weird. If you give them a right to life and they're alive, they can sin and then they'll go to hell.
Well, by this logic, murdering people would just help them on to purgatory, and we clearly don't do that.
I don't believe in purgatory. I'm an Orthodox.
I thought you guys did, don't you?
No, that's Catholics. Catholics believe in purgatory, not Orthodox. We don't believe in purgatory.
Okay, well, you'll help them onto heaven then if you were to just murder them. But
how would you help them onto heaven? Their nature is that they're sinful, right? So every aborted baby gets a one-way ticket to heaven.
That's what we believe, yeah. Because
so if every aborted baby gets a one-way ticket to heaven, I can assure you a way which you can give every human being a one-way ticket to heaven.
How would I give everyone a one-way ticket to heaven?
Well, it's simple. You just implement a government policy and you say, this is going to be the last generation, but we're going to send 1 billion people straight to heaven.
But this is ridiculous. But why?
Well, wait. I don't know. It's not ridiculous. Let me make sure I get this right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's assume you have button A and button B. You have two buttons. Okay. Mm-hmm. Button A assures that 1 billion people go to heaven, and button B assures that half the people go to hell and half the people go to heaven. Which button would you push?
Well, I would not usurp God's power and authority and decide.
You have to push a button. Stick with the hypothetical. You have to. There's a gun to your head. You have to.
I mean, obviously, I would choose A in the interest of having more people go to heaven. But
right, that's right. So testing your logic, the most moral thing we can do. The most moral thing we can do is kill all the babies because they go right to heaven.
But you're making me assume to basically usurp the power of God to decide who lives and who dies, and that's not my appropriate role.
Well, why not? You're sending them all to heaven. You're literally giving them a one-way ticket to heaven. But what's the problem here?
Because we clearly.
In fact, I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm going to go tomorrow and thank an abortionist and be like, you know what? Thank you for sending your child to heaven. If they were born into this world, why, they might have sinned and then they could have gone to hell. You really did them a favor.
Because God set it up where we're supposed to be born and have free will to choose if we're going to sin or not, and He hopes we'll choose Him.
Yeah, but I just found a great loophole. I just found an excellent loophole. All I have to do is go to an abortionist and be like, listen, do you want to send 20 people to heaven? And when they say, yeah, I'll be like, okay, so here's what you do. You go and you fuck a random dude and you get pregnant and then you go have an abortion. And then I guarantee you're going to send 20 people straight to heaven.
But wouldn't that work the same with a completely Orthodox worldview as well? I mean,
No. We would never be arrogant enough to make a salvific claim. We would never be arrogant enough to do so. Ever. And yet here, with your Protestant pride, you just couldn't help it, right? All dogs go to heaven. All babies go to heaven.
but the Orthodox
Okay, great. So
go to heaven.
So then
born without
we don't make salvific claims because we're not insane. We don't make salvific claims.
But why
ever?
The Orthodox worldview, if you have a baby that's never sinned, and you're saying they don't have a sinful nature, they've never
How do you know it's never sinned? How do you know they've never sinned? How do you know they've never sinned? How do you know that?
Well, if you're saying they're not born with a sinful nature and they've never committed the act, then by that logic,
how do you know they've never committed the act? How do you know they've never committed the act? How do you know that?
Because a baby doesn't have the ability to comprehend right and wrong.
Oh, great. So now you're making salvific claims again. It's nice that you, at the one hand, say only God can judge, and here you are judging, making salvific claims about babies. In fact, you're so sure in your salvific claims that all babies go to heaven. So by your logic, hey, I'll just go pay a chick to have 20 abortions. I just sent 20 people to heaven. You can't get more rewards than that. In fact, I'd say I sent more people to heaven by killing 20 babies than people who preach at church. Because I know they got a one-way ticket.
But I don't what do the Orthodox Christians believe happens to a baby that dies or is killed?
We don't make salvific claims.
So you say there's absolutely no
There is no belief in what happens to babies when they die because we don't make salvific claims. We don't know. We have no idea.
You claim complete inability to know if the child goes to heaven or hell?
It's impossible to ever know who goes to heaven or hell, not just a child.
But in theory.
No, in theory, it's impossible to know. Now, who knows? Do you know or does God know?
Well, ultimately, only God knows. But
do you know or does God know? Well, then why are you sitting here making salvific claims, lady?
Because I can judge based on, I look at you and you claim to be Christian, and I see that you appear
only God can know, but you also can know. Okay, got it. Only God can know, but you also can know.
I can't know 100%.
Yeah, so then you can't know. So then you can't know. Yeah, so then you can't know.
But I can get a good idea of a guess. I can make an educated guess.
So, okay, yeah, you could. Great, you can make a guess. That's fantastic, but you don't know. So if you don't know, why would you make a salvific claim? You're instructed specifically not to make salvific claims because you don't know and you can't know. And you're told specifically you can't know. And so not to do that.
Well,
the number one thing you're told is don't do that because you don't know.
Well,
you can't know.
I agree that we don't know for any one individual person, but we know in theory.
No, you don't know. No, you don't know in theory. You don't know in theory. Your theory is that you don't know.
No, my theory is that if I know that someone in theory has accepted Christ and is saved and is becoming like Christ and bearing all the fruit.
Oh, wait. So babies, wait, that's really weird. That's really weird. So Jesus Christ. So your earlier criticism is, why did Jesus Christ come and die for the sins of people when if some people hang on, stop. If some people never sin. I go, well, that's really weird. Why would he come and die for babies who've never sinned?
Well, I guess that's what I'm not understanding is that if everyone has
I'm not understanding. Explain this to me. If the criticism is, why would Jesus Christ come and die for men who have never sinned, right? Wouldn't that logic equally apply to babies by your worldview?
Because he took the punishment of all their original sin on him by dying on the cross.
Well, then by that logic, you have no original sin, and you're admitting that men can live their whole lives without sinning.
Well, I think there's a difference
So,
between original
You just
sin.
got caught. You just got caught in a contradiction. Just so you know, that's what one looks like. And now you're experiencing what's called cognitive dissonance. You don't
But
know
no,
exactly what to do with this information.
two things. One is a sinful nature, quote unquote, original sin. And then there's the Greek word you guys use as a martema, which is the act of actually sinning. And so the fact that you're born with original sin that inclines you toward committing the acts are what, not only what God or what Jesus died for, but also the original sin.
Oh, wait. So
Am I not
just to get
understanding
this,
that correctly?
just to get this right, let's just use this logic again.
Mhm.
How would that preclude people from going through their whole life without sinning?
I just don't.
Yeah,
think
that's what I thought. Right? Oh, you just don't think? Oh, I just don't think so. What a great argument. I just don't think so. Oh, fantastic. So what about this precludes men from going their whole life without sinning?
My understanding is that if you're born with a sinful nature, you will sin if you become, old enough and coordinated enough to do so.
So Jesus Christ came and died for the babies who commit no sin?
He would have died for any original sinful nature.
So they're born. So then the most just and moral thing we can do is kill babies. We're back to that.
But why would that not be the same claim under an Orthodox worldview?
Because we don't make salvific claims. We don't know if babies go right to heaven. We have no idea.
But then how do you know that you're saved if you can never make a salvific claim?
We don't. That's what theosis is about. We don't know if we're saved. We have no idea.
What faith is.
How could you? Are you saying? Wait, are you saying that you're the only person on planet Earth who knows that they're saved? That's interesting.
Well, I suppose there is an element of faith, but I would say that I know that I am
There's
saved.
there's no element of faith.
Wait. Hang on. So you know that you're going to heaven.
I have faith that I am. Yeah,
Okay, so then you don't. So then you don't know.
Strongly.
So then you don't know.
Because faith is a don't
Well,
know.
do you know? So let me ask this a different way because it's very evasive again. Do you know you're going to heaven?
I mean, for me, my faith is so strong that I would say I know that I'm going to heaven.
Perfect. Okay, so then I guess Jesus Christ is a liar and his apostles are liars when they say that nobody can know. You, though, you can know. You were the one person who broke the mold. Man, I mean, should we call you a saint from now on?
But the thing is, I cannot prove it. That's why it's faith.
Yeah, I know you can't prove it because you don't fucking know. That's why you can't prove it.
I mean, there's always that element. This isn't science where I can do the experiment and prove it to you. It is a faith-based knowing.
You know?
You don't.
I mean, what's the difference between knowing and having faith? I guess.
So let me ask you a question. Am I going to heaven?
I think. I mean. Again, so I can't make the salvific claim for you based on what I see.
All right, you can't make a salvific claim. You can't make a salvific claim. You can't make a salvific claim.
I can't 100% say for you, but I can make an educated guess.
Yeah, but you can't make a salvific claim, can you? So you can't make a salvific claim?
I cannot know your heart the way God can, so I can't ever make a salvific claim for one.
Right, there we go. You can't make a salvific claim, but how can you make a salvific claim on a baby then? Yeah, it makes no sense, right? This is fucking stupid. It makes no sense.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, I guess.
Hey, Melissa, do you do
Why am I laughing,
arm waving thing?
I bet those glasses make you see better.